Loyalty is a word that slips too easily off the tongue, a word wrapped in warmth and comfort, a word people love to use when they want to assure you that they are different, that they are true, that they will stand by you when the winds shift. But if you've lived long enough, if you've paid attention to the patterns of human behavior, you know that most of what people call loyalty is nothing more than convenience dressed as commitment, and convenience will always disappear the moment it costs something. Machiavelli understood this truth centuries ago, and it's why he refused to accept words at face value. Because he knew that loyalty is not declared, loyalty is revealed. Loyalty is not a promise spoken in the calm of friendship, but a posture proven in the storm of disruption. And the only way to truly know who is real is to test them, quietly, ruthlessly, strategically, without warning, because without the test you are living an illusion, and illusion is the most dangerous enemy of power. See, most of the people around you are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the benefits of being near you, to the comfort of your presence, to the opportunities your existence creates. And once those benefits fade, they will fade. Once those opportunities close, they will close. And when that happens, you realize something Machiavelli had been shouting through his writings. Most of your so-called allies are not allies at all. They are spectators orbiting your light until another sun rises. And when it does, they will turn their faces without shame. That is why Machiavelli believed in tests. 5 specific ways to uncover the real from the false. 5 trials of allegiance that do not require confrontation, that do not need shouting matches or declarations, but instead rely on silence, observation, subtle shifts, and controlled experiments. Because in the world of power, trust is not given, it is earned, and earned not through smiles or words, but through fire, through sacrifice, through presence when there is nothing to gain. So let us walk through these 5 tests. The Machiavellian loyalty tests. The only way to separate those who are truly with you from those who are merely with the idea of you. And if you have the courage to apply them, your world will grow smaller but stronger, your circle will shrink but will sharpen, and you will understand what Machiavelli meant when he said that the strength of a ruler lies not in the number of friends at the table, but in the proven steel of the few who remain when the room is empty. The first test would draw the spotlight. The first loyalty test Machiavelli would give is the simplest to apply yet the hardest to face, because it doesn't require you to act cruel. It doesn't require you to betray anyone. It only requires you to stop giving them what they crave most: your attention, your validation, your praise, your constant recognition of their presence. See, people love to say they are loyal to you, but often they are loyal only to how you make them feel. They are addicted to the applause you give them, to the way your energy makes them shine brighter, to the way your recognition makes them feel significant. But this is not loyalty. This is ego addiction, and the addict is never loyal to the supplier. They are only loyal to the high. So you pull back, not forever, not in anger, but strategically, quietly, without explanation. You withdraw the spotlight. You stop clapping for them. You stop feeding their ego. You stop making them feel like they matter because of your constant presence. And then you watch, not for a day, not for a week, but long enough to see patterns emerge. Do they grow bitter, distant, cold? Do they align themselves with others who are giving them the attention you no longer provide? Do they shift their orbit to a brighter star because your light dimmed for a moment? If they do, then Machiavelli would say they were never with you. They were with the reflection of themselves in your eyes. And the moment that reflection disappeared, so did their loyalty. But if they lean in, if they check on you and you're quiet, if they hold position when the applause stops, then you've found something rare, something real. Because true loyalty does not depend on constant validation. True loyalty is not shaken when the music stops. True loyalty does not evaporate when the spotlight shifts. It remains steady, quiet, unshaken. This first test hurts because it breaks the illusion that kindness and laughter and time spent together are proof of loyalty. But illusions must die a clarity is to live. Because a false friend who requires your light to stand will always vanish the moment you dim. And the sooner you know this, the safer your future becomes. The second test, introduce uncertainty. The second Machiavellian loyalty test is subtler than the first, but it strikes at the very core of human comfort. Because if the first test revealed who depends on your validation, the second reveals who depends on your stability, your predictability, your ability to remain where they feel safe. And Machiavelli knew that true loyalty is never afraid of change, but false loyalty trembles when the ground shifts. To apply this test, you don't need to stage drama or chaos. You don't need to create a crisis. All you need to do is speak about a decision that signals movement, a risky choice, a bold step forward, something that carries the weight of uncertainty, something that forces the people around you to imagine a future where your position is different, your path altered, your status elevated or endangered, because uncertainty is the flame that burns away illusions, and in that fire, fear always reveals itself. You tell them perhaps that you are considering a major shift, a new career move, an investment, a relocation, a creative pursuit that could change everything. And then you watch carefully, not for their surface words alone, but for the undercurrent beneath their tone, for the subtle tightening of their expressions, for the way they frame their advice, because this is where the truth leaks out. The loyal encourage boldness. Machiavelli would say, while the disloyal disguise fears wisdom, and they will not oppose you directly, because direct opposition will expose them. Instead, they will soften their sabotage with concern. They will wrap their insecurity in phrases like, "I just don't want to get hurt," or "Are you sure this is smart?" or "I'm only saying this because I care." But if you listen closely, beneath their words you will hear the whisper of a deeper truth. Not that they are protecting you, but that they are protecting their own place beside you, and the fear that your growth may leave them behind. Because loyalty is not tested when you remain the same. Loyalty is tested when you evolve, when you change, when you step into unknown territory, because that is when the insecure can no longer control the environment. That is when they realize the distance between you may grow. And some people cannot stomach your growth because it threatens their identity, their comfort, their shadow, and so they pull you back under the mask of care. But the real ones, the rare, the true, they will say, "If this is what you feel, I believe in you." They will not tremble when you change course. They will adapt. They will adjust. They will remain steady even as you climb higher, because their loyalty is not to situation, not to comfort zone, but to you. And Machiavelli would call this the difference between those who anchor you to safety out of fear and those who sharpen you for battle out of trust. So you introduce uncertainty and you observe without responding. You let them speak. You let them reveal themselves. And the longer they talk, the clearer their loyalty becomes. Because words may lie, but patterns never do. And what you are searching for is not comfort, not agreement, not validation. You are searching for alignment. The rare alignment of someone who can walk beside you in the fog of uncertainty without needing the ground to always be solid beneath their feet. The second test stings because it reveals who loves a version of you they can control versus who loves the version of you that dares to evolve. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Because every piece of advice, every subtle doubt, every pause in their voice begins to sound different. And you realize that what you thought was care may have been fear, and what you thought was protection may have been possession. The third test goes silent. The third loyalty test Machiavelli designed is as brutal as it is simple, because it requires no words, no confrontation, no false scenarios. It requires only silence, absence, distance, the creation of a void where your constant presence once stood. And in that void, the truth emerges like smoke from a fire that was always there. You don't disappear to punish them. You don't go silent as a game. You go silent to create space, to step back from the noise of constant connection, to withdraw the energy that feeds the bond. And then you watch who notices, who reaches, who fades. Because loyalty is not proven in your presence. Loyalty is proven in your absence. And Machiavelli understood that absence is a magnifying glass that reveals the hidden structure of every relationship. Because the ones who are with you only when you are shining, posting, entertaining, talking, performing, they are spectators, not supporters. They are fans, not allies. And the silence exposes them like nothing else. When you go quiet, the false will evaporate. They will not ask, "Are you okay?" They will not lean in. They will not step forward. Instead, they will find another light to circle, another stage to stand beside, another source of entertainment to consume, and you will realize they were never with you. They were with the noise of you, the performance of you, the benefit of you. But the loyal, the real, they will feel the silence like a weight. They will notice the absence like a missing heartbeat. They will reach out without needing an audience. They will ask not, "Why aren't you responding to me?" But instead, "You've been distant. Are you all right?" And that difference is everything, because one is ego, the other is care, one is demand, the other is presence. This test hurts the most because it destroys the illusion of mutual care, because you realize how many of the people you thought were close are only close when you are convenient. But Machiavelli will remind you that illusions are dangerous, because the greatest threat is not the army outside the gates. It is a betrayal inside the walls, and silence is the quickest way to expose the cracks in those walls before the enemy strikes. So you go silent, and though it feels cold, though it feels lonely, it is not cruelty. It is responsibility, because you must know who notices your absence, who values your presence, who remains when there is nothing to gain, and the ones who fail this test were never allies to begin with. They were simply fillers in the noise of your life. And the sooner you know this, the sooner you can fortify your kingdom.